Cheers everyone, I hope you are all keeping well in these crazy times. My name is Dario and welcome to Space Engineers. In this video we are going to look into how to create a new game, a new world, and make your custom scenario. And now, before anything, I have to tell you that my campaigns are gonna be all focused on the performance. I don't have a high-end gaming laptop or computer, so if you are new into the game or you've been playing for a while but you have a mid to low in the computer, stick around because you might find some tips that can help you run the game smoothly, or a little better at least. So to begin with, when I bought the game a couple years ago, and practically the same time that I bought this laptop, I have the specs you will find in the description of the video, so you can have a look at that. So what I did is an Nvidia graphics card. So I used the GeForce Experience software that comes with it to optimize the game according to the standards, right, of the software. And here in options, the first thing I can tell you is that I changed everything. Normally this would be all in high, and even I think it was the shadow quality, was in extreme heavy performance impact, and yes, indeed has a heavy performance. The game looks pretty well. Now that it's in medium, I don't really find a big difference in the image quality, but it lacks much less. So the first thing I would recommend is, like, any place, everybody's gonna tell you to put the graphic options down. So I'm gonna play in medium, and another thing that I would recommend is here in the display settings, this option, the vertical sync. If you look at the description, it says the game will synchronize with the refresh rate of your monitor, which may solve possible graphical distortion but can affect performance. In my case, it really did, actually. There were some times that if you have played the game already, you know what I mean. Those freezes that takes 2-3 seconds, and then everything keeps moving. I used to check in the task manager what is going on when those freezes happen, and I see that the CPU had a 100% suddenly a spike, and the GPU goes to 0. I deselected this. And even though it still happens from time to time, it's not as frequent, and it lasts shorter time. I'm not a computer expert, so I don't know if this is really something that can help, but it's or what is the explanation of why. But I found that it helped in my game, so I just want to share it, and maybe something that you can try. So, going back to the main screen, the settings that I'm gonna go through are gonna be focused on the performance. So, when we go to a new game, you will see the scenarios that you can choose. These are scripted campaigns in which you have to do A, B, C to keep going forward. If you are new in the game, I would recommend doing the first jump and maybe learning to survive. I haven't finished them myself. Sparks of the Future is just a show of the new DLC that just came out, so you can't actually. It's not like a playthrough or anything. You just go see it. It's quite cool. You can have a look at that. And then the Never Surrender, Lost Connolly and Frostbite is better that you already know what you're doing. Otherwise you're gonna get lost and gonna die a lot. So in Workshop there are some scenarios that you can download from the workshop, you subscribe to them, and then you can play. I have played Escape from Mars, which is pretty good. You have some videos also that you can check on YouTube from splits he did not long ago with Capac, and Wasted Space did at the beginning with Textfire. That's hilarious. You should check it. But what we're gonna focus today is gonna be on the custom game. So where you're gonna put the rules that you like for your new playthrough. And in this case, I'm gonna go to the star system. And the reason is not other that I'm gonna be recording a new survival series. I'm gonna be uploading the video shortly, and I decided that, well, since I have to do this anyway to create the scenario, just record it and upload it, since hopefully I will be able to help someone to do their own. Right? So once we are here, we can call. Here you have a name, description, etc. I'm gonna go to one thing before going into details here in advance, because this is one thing that you won't be able to change later. They are different settings that you can see in here. After you start playing, you will be able to come back and change. But there's one. There is this where are you? Asteroid Amount. If you see here, Asteroid Amount. Once you select it, when you start playing, that's it. You won't be able to change. I'm gonna show you. If we go to load a game, first one I have here, settings, I go to advanced. See, it was under the environment of hostility. It's not there, so you won't be able to change this, and it will affect your game quite a lot. So be careful. Just be careful. Just pay attention when you select this. See, Asteroid Amount, you have, it tells you, the description says density of procedurally generated asteroid fields. So once you get to space and you start moving around, asteroids will start appearing. Now this, what it means is that when they start appearing, you're gonna see 20 different asteroids, or 10 or 5. The more you play, because let's say you are start on Earth, you go to space, you want to go to the moon, asteroids will appear. You go to Mars, more asteroids will appear. I'm not sure about this, but I think it gets recorded in your world. So if you go and you mine some ice in one asteroid, and you go back to Earth, and you want to go back there, the asteroid is gonna be in that place. You leave a GPS marker, and you will be able to go back to that asteroid. So the more asteroids that the game is creating, the more hit there is gonna have in the performance of your playthrough, right? So this one, you have to make sure when you start with your new game that you choose something reasonable according to your computer specs. So sorry about that incision. We're gonna go back here, and there's a star system. You can name your playthrough as you like. I'm just gonna put here a prequel. So this is gonna be a prequel to my series, and it's gonna be survival series, for example. So this is another thing that I always don't select. Auto saves the state of your world every 5 minutes or when exiting the game. Well, if you leave that on, as it tells you, every 5 minutes the game is gonna save the progress. But you have to think about, you start on Earth, you start with a small base, you go to space, you get to the moon, you build another base, you build a bigger ship, you go to Mars, you build another thing, and you have start mining like crazy, and you have thousands of tons of every material, and you construct thousands of every component. All the things that you put in the cargo containers, everything is saved every 5 minutes. So when you advance in your playthrough and you have tons of garbage in your world, your inventories, etc., every 5 minutes is gonna save everything, every single component or ingots, etc. Not only where you are playing, if you are on Earth, but also if you left something in Mars or on the alien planet, etc. So this is one of the reasons that you notice when the autosave kicks in that the game also freezes. And there's no reason than this. There's a lot of stuff that the computer has to, or that the game has to make a backup of. So I usually don't use it anymore, and just you have to remember that if you just build a new ship and you want to test if it flies, well, save in case everything goes terrible and you need to go back, right? But this is my preference, and it helps a lot to keep the game running smoother. So okay, here this is very, a lot of these settings go according to your liking. In my case, I would say that for this inventory parts, I always use +10 times 10 and blocking inventory size +10. Why? Because if you leave it in realistic, for example, the character inventory size, you're gonna pick a clan cola and your pockets will be full already, and you're gonna have, you want to take 10 clan colas and you have to go 10 times, pick it up, put it in the inventory, The cargo containers don't hold anything, and you have to build 300 cargo containers to put a medium size inventory. And the more things that you build, the higher impact it has in your performance. So if you want to do some tests with this, if you are new to the game, I would recommend starting from the lowest, realistic, or ×3, and then if you want to change, you can scale up. Because if you start from ×10 and you want to go down, if you already started your game and you have 1000 steel plates in one inventory, when you load back, putting it down, you're gonna find that you only have 100, and say, hey, you lost everything. So if you want to experiment with that, go from low to high. And for my taste, I use ×10. I don't have much time to play, and I like to get things done in the time that I'm playing. The assembler efficiency, refiner speed, this I don't change. I just leave it as it is. And now, going back to the this environmental hostility, if you don't know what it is, this is just some time ago, the King software, they implemented some what's that, asteroids? How do they call this? Meteor showers. So safe means that there will be no meteors, and then you can increase the amount. I think nobody plays with this anymore. You're building something, the meteors they can break all your stuff, and they don't bring much to the game, really. But be my guest if you want to give it a try. Now going back to the asteroid amount. Now in here, in my particular playthrough that I'm gonna start uploading soon, I will be playing with a mod that is called the EEM, which is the Exploration Enhancement mod. Now this mod works as an economy system parallel to the vanilla from the game, and it spawns a lot of stations. This is only a space, huh? Stations and ships that are traveling from side to side, the pirates, etc. Now, the spawn quantity or frequency, I would say, it is related to this, to the asteroid amount. In this, I've been testing this in another playthrough, playing on my own, and I had it in normal, and it spawns a lot, quite a lot, which is, you know, very cool to have a lot of life in your system. But some of the ships have 20, 30, up to 40,000 PCU, and when it spawns in, it lags a lot. So I'm gonna go to low density in this case. If you have a lower end computer, you can try with this, but I would go to the lowest. If you put it in none, then you will have no asteroids. So try with the lowest first, and hopefully your computer can run with that. So we go to a low density. Limit world size gonna be unlimited. Otherwise, you're gonna be playing in a square, and if you go out, you die. Play with unlimited size. The view distance also, you will see here, it tells you directly that the performance friendly is 7 kilometers, and for low-end machines 5 kilometers. So if you have a low-end computer, here's your answer directly. I'm gonna play with 10. I'm gonna lower a little bit down, always looking in the long run when you start building a lot of stuff, and keep the game trying to run as smooth as possible in the long term. Sun rotation enabled, so you can have the day-night cycle. I always leave it in 2 hours. I think it's fine. You can change it if you want. And the maximum amount of objects. The description here tells you the maximum number of small objects floating in space or Ingon's components. Warning: values higher than 64 can significantly affect performance. So we're gonna go 64. It says let's go to 64 or 62. It's the closest that I can get. You can go up, you see, to 1000. Also, if you have a powerful computer, of course you can try with more. Since we are talking performance here, we are gonna go with 62. Now, block limits, I'm gonna turn it off. It's gonna tell you, warning, block limits are set to ensure good performance. Please disable this option only for experimental purposes. We want to experiment. If you don't do this, you're gonna hit a wall. You get to 100,000 PCU. PCU, by the way, is performance cost units. Is how the game measures the performance hit that different blocks can have into your game. So I leave it without selecting it, so you can build more, and you will find the limit according to your computer. If in the end, when you are very deep into your game, if you have a lot of things, maybe you have to start recycling your ships or your stations that you don't use, just grind it down so it can run a little better, right? Well, the backup saves, I'm gonna put it, I use 3 normally. You can go up to 1000, I think. Yes, you can go up to 1000. This is just occupies space in your hard drive. So for me, 3. Since I don't have the autosave, I know that when you are in the game, you save manually, and you have up to 3 backups, which I think is, in my case, is enough. Now, going down here is more into the playing style that you're gonna go with your new world or campaign. So auto healing, spectator are gonna leave it on in case you need to check to delete some things, etc. Thruster damage, you can go through this. Most of them are selected directly for you. So enable airtightness, for example. If you really have a very low-end computer, then don't play with it, because it really has a hit in performance. But this game, I think if your computer can run it, you should put it on, because it's a cool feature. I think that you're in a space and you have to keep your ships airtight if you want to breathe, right? Enable jetpack, enable oxygen, same thing we just said. Now, what was that? In-game scripts. You have to select this. If disabled, the scripts will not be running game. Scripts are used in programmable block and can also be used by some mods to create advanced logic and effects. So I'm gonna be using mods, unless you're gonna go completely 100% vanilla. I'm not gonna use any mods. You can leave it like this, but otherwise you must select this, and I highly recommend that you do. Now, since I'm gonna be using mods that take advantage or take charge of the spawning of these things, the cargo ships and random encounters are gonna be deselected. If you play 100% vanilla, then select them. Otherwise, you're gonna be completely alone in the world. But otherwise, deselect, and you can use the modular encounters spawner as a frame, and then all the mods that spawn the different NPCs. Now, you can enable wolves that appear in the Earth-like planet, spiders for the alien planet. I'm not gonna select it right now, because first I want to, once I get into the game, I'm gonna be putting up a scenario. I don't want to be bothered with this, but once I start the campaign and recording for the series, that will be on. What other thing? Enable progression. Not my cup of tea. This limits you the things that you are going to build, the blocks that you're gonna select. You have to select. You have to grind down and a landing gear, for example, and weld it up, so you are able to build some other things. I mean, for me, it's not something that I like. You can try it if you want, but in my case, I'm not gonna put it on. I will have the economy, the weather system, which is new from the last update. I'm gonna enable super grading just in case I use some blueprints from the workshop that have it. I don't use it in the builds that I make, but just in case I use any from the workshop. And this is about done. One thing that I want to say is the permanent death. If true, player loses everything if he dies and has no available respawn point. Normally I have never used it until now. But in this series that I'm gonna be recording, I will. Now, looking into this, I thought, well, what is this? You die and game over. Your game is finished, you have to start from the beginning. No, it's not like this. Normally when you start, you spawn in a pod, you go down, you start building your base, etc. This permanent death, what it means is that if you are building, run out of hydrogen and you land with your face on the floor and you die, you are not gonna spawn on the survival kit, because at the beginning you don't have a medbay, and for the medbay you need the silver and you have to go to space to get it. So you only have the survival kit. Normally you can spawn on the survival kit. With this selected, you cannot. So what happens? If you die, you will spawn again on a drop pod, and all the blocks that you have built up to that point will change ownerships. The blocks won't recognize you as the owner, and if you have any turrets active, they will shoot you down. So you lose everything that you have built up to that point. and I haven't tested this yet. I don't know where you spawn, so maybe you spawn close, but maybe you spawn on the other side of the planet. So what this means is that heck, you have to start from the beginning again, right? So right now I'm not gonna select it because, as I mentioned, I want to set a scenario or where I'm going to start the series. But once the first episode comes out, this will be on, and it's gonna give me a huge importance to the medbay. I need to get a medbay. That would be the priority number one. Right? Okay, so this is done, and then we can go to the mods, the fun part. Now, for this video, to not make it too long, what I'm gonna select right now is what I classify as quality of life mods, things that are very helpful and in my opinion should be vanilla, right? Even if you only like to play completely 100% vanilla game, this should be there. And I'm gonna show you which ones. For example, the phrase new view, I'm gonna open them in the workshop to give you a look only to these ones. Later I will add a lot more, but animated interaction, this is just a few of them. Bear with me for a couple of minutes while I found them. Let me see, build vision, camera panning, clear camera screen, excuse me, color for icons, and I'm also gonna put a couple that are gonna mark my playthrough, just to explain how it goes. I just got clear. That's cute. I think that's it. Yes, I think that's about it. Okay, so a new HUD. You know, the vanilla HUD has all the elements together in a box on the left hand side here, and for me it's a little hard to find the oxygen and the hydrogen. With this HUD, you have it on this side, on your left, and it's just, at a glance you already see the quantities that you have. It's quite easy. I particularly like it, and just to show you that you can get the different HUDs according to your needs. This is the one I use. Animated interaction is just that every time that you click on something, your character is gonna use the pad. Since your character already has the pad anyways, just to make it a use of it. Recently, it's a little bug that you look into an inventory and it does like this, and when you get out of the inventory, the character is still like this. And if you are with the welder or with the drill or whatever, and you're like this, you can't see anything. You just click again into an inventory, come out, and immediately it just gets well. It's not a big deal for me. The Build Vision 2.5, this is an amazing and very helpful mod that allows you to just looking into the blocks, and you click, I think it's control, the left control or the shift. We will look it into once we get into the video. And you can select this for rotors, for lights, for example, instead of going into the menu and selecting everything, you have to go in, look for the lights, This, you just look at it, you click and you have all the options in there. You can change name of the blocks, etc. This is very cool, very useful mod. Now I just remembered, to run all this you need the Texthat API, which is the framework. This one, Texthat API, this is the framework, allows modders to add text to the player's screen. So all this animated interaction, build vision, the new HUD, etc., they need this. So you have to make sure that you have it active. Camera panning just allows you to see in the whole area that the camera has. You can zoom in. With the vanilla camera, you can only go straight. You are zooming in with your middle mouse button and you just go straight in, but you can look to the sides. With this mod, you press the Alt key, and then with the mouse you move to the left. You can zoom in that direction, to the right, etc. So it's very useful. Clear camera, just so you don't have like dirt that the vanilla camera has. And colorful icons, this I like it a lot, because normally in vanilla all the components just look the same color, the background is like a bluish gray tint on it. Here with this mod, every component has a distinctive, you see here the components, and most importantly for the ores. See the ores, you have the iron, make it bigger, no, it's the same size. You have more easier to find the components at more, it's nicer to the eye, in my opinion. And eyes just got clear. This one is old mod, so it's from last updated 2018. There's probably some others newer. I always use this one, works fine, so haven't looked into us, but maybe you see this, the vanilla is very hard, it stands out a lot. With this mod it lowers down the glows and is quite helpful. And now for my particular playthrough, I'm gonna be using these two mods. The daily needs, which means that your character will have to eat, to drink and rest, otherwise he could die. So this gives a new layer of I don't know if realism, but something more close to a realism playthrough you could have, right? Not just charge your suit and that's it. You have to cook your meals. And this has several type of blocks that you have to build in your ships or stations, and you can upgrade them to cook better things. That the only thing it does is that it lasts longer. And another one is going to be scarce resources. Now this mod, what it does is give you a reason to really travel to all the planets in the system, because otherwise you just go to an asteroid and you find uranium and you build your reactors, and then you might never go to the alien planet, for example, because why? You have NPC mods and you are fighting everybody there and you're already engaged in things in there and you just don't go, right? So with this mod, what it does is place specific ores for each planet. So the best, and what I'm going to do is start on the Earth planet, and for the Earth planet what you have as unique is the cobalt. Now you want to get a large amount of cobalt because this you need this for almost half the components that you can build in this game. Metal grids to start with, for example. So all the advanced components you will need cobalt. So you have to make sure to get this. But since we're gonna be needing a medbay, for example, if I scroll down here, it tells you all planets and moons have the basic ores: iron, nickel, silicon, and ice, plus the additional rare ores mentioned below. So moons, silver and gold. So the asteroids don't have us. So okay, Earth-like, because I want to start on Earth. You could start on other places in the system. So where do we go here? Respawn. So where are we? Alright. Can I select the thrusters? No. Thrusters on. Where am I? There's the gyro. There's no gyro. Gyro. Timer block. There's no gyro. So, well, I haven't done this for ages. We have a I can move in any direction then without a gyro, and I won't have anything. Okay, one of the reasons that I wanted to start with this is to get this GPS for the station. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Let's turn the antenna off. That is just using power, and let's see if we can find a lake somewhere. Nope. There's the moon, so we know the moon is in that direction. We're not very lucky. I don't see any source of water, ice, etc. So the only thing we can do is just go down. Let me see the thrusters. Oh, you can select because it's a passenger seat. It's not a control seat. This is the remote control here. No. Holy cow! You can't do anything. So just turn it off and let it go down. Bye bye moon. Hope to see you soon. Parachute opens. No, you can't really fly anywhere. See how it froze a little? Point. Touchdown. Okay, so here we are. If you press V, you go into your first view. See, this is the bug that I was talking about, the animated interaction. You just click on a menu, come out, you have to grab something. We don't need the button really. Hydrogen, yes. And it goes normal again, right? Now you can switch. So the animated interaction, what it does is that See how the hands are moving, and the same bug again. Move something, please. You don't want to. Well, maybe I have to take you out, huh? I guess so. This one is fine. Okay, so the build vision, for example. Yes, it's the left control. You press the left control, this menu will appear. You click middle mouse button, and now you can turn it on, for example, without getting into the chair or the system, etc. Turn it off. You can change the name here, middle mouse button. You press enter, and then you can write whatever you want. Press enter again, and you can change the name. So it's very useful. This is our survival kit, and now in like any game that you start, the thing would be diggy hole. Start digging. I don't know what's going on with the mod today. It really doesn't wanna work. See, it go like that. You can still working with it. Huh? Okay, so see, he's working with his pad. Tick tick tick. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna put a GPS. Start position. And I'm gonna go back to the main menu. Yes. And now from here, what I will do in my case, if you want to build your own scenario, is you go to load game. Have here prequel. You go to settings. I will change it to creative. I will add a ton of mods, and then when everything is set, I will change to survival again and start the proper campaign according to the basics that I want to start with. So thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful to some of you. And if you have any comments or suggestions regarding the performance, please leave in the comments, because I would love to find other ways to tweak the settings. And there might be other people that will also appreciate it. So I'm gonna stop here. I will do another video showing how I'm gonna be setting the scenario for the oncoming campaign. So if you want to see how that goes, please keep watching the next video. If you enjoy it, give me a good like, subscribe if you want to see more, and just keep safe, and hope to see you again soon. Cheers everyone, take care, and bye bye for now.